What's up, guys? Welcome to the Swanky Cat Productions channel. My name is Ben. If you want to see more videos like this one today, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I put at least one video out every week in the wintertime. Today, we're going to be talking about this 2019 ZR6000 Snow Pro. A couple things to keep in mind during this video. One, this is actually not my sled. A very generous buddy of mine dropped it off and told me to take it out and ride it and make videos for you guys on it. Another thing that I think you maybe want to keep in mind here during the video, this is a little bit odd for a review for me. The sled that we're reviewing today is actually for sale. There'll be information down in the description. Let's get on this thing and take it out for a ride. Trails back home are closed. We're actually up in the Harrison Hills area today. Absolutely beautiful section of woods. I ride this quite a bit in the summertime. Definitely worth the trip, both in the summer and the winter to ride. So I pretty much rode this sled exclusively this season, and the other sled that I've got in the garage is a 2013 Arctic Cat F1100. So that's a 4-stroke, so you got to change the oil on that one. This one being a 2-stroke, you just dump it in every 100 miles or so, and then at the end of the season you got to clean the power valves. So you got to kind of pick your maintenance, and also kind of pick what you like the engine to sound like, I guess. And that's definitely a big decision to make. But I think no matter what, any of these Arctic Cat sleds from around these years, you're probably going to be pretty happy with. And honestly, I would say that these actually this sled specifically is probably my favorite sled so far. It might just be because my Polaris Dragon was a little bit tired out by the time I got it. But I think this thing is definitely faster than that. A lot more sleds that I want to get on, and that's actually one of the reasons that I'm not going to purchase this sled myself. Like I said, I really have been enjoying riding this, though. I like this a lot more than my F1100 for ergonomically for a couple of reasons. The seat on these is a couple inches higher, so it kind of puts you in a little bit better position for your back and your legs and everything. Feels a lot better. You feel like you're kind of in a little bit more control. Obviously, higher center of gravity, not always a great thing for corners, but with a couple things that we've got done to this sled, mainly the suspension adjustments and the CNA Pro XPT Trail Performance skis, it really handles the corners quite nicely now. One thing that I really like about these skis is that they kind of seem to damp down the darting quite a bit. With a long single runner shaper carbide on a sled like this, you would normally see quite a bit of darting. And I mean, you can see that it shifts around a little bit when I hit the tracks, but the snow out here is ridiculously hard. And even with that, I mean, this really tracks pretty nice. One thing to mention with these skis, if you guys have ever looked at a set or even just a set of single runner longer carbides, they definitely make things a little bit more work. But I think once you kind of get over that and you get used to it, and maybe once you build up a little bit of muscle, it's definitely worth doing. The stock skis and the stock carbides on here are not something you want to be trying to take corners on fast with. They just don't have enough bite. This does not have a studded track. I think on conditions like today it probably would be helpful. This is a 137, and I have to say I've really been enjoying riding it around. I haven't got it in any deep powder, not a whole lot out here this year, but I think having that couple extra inches does make it a little bit more comfy, especially if you get into like moguls and stuff. You can kind of bridge those a little bit more than a short track would, and it's really not, at least noticeable to me, that I've lost any sort of steering ability with it. I think paired with the right skis and the right carbides, I think it does just fine. What a beautiful place this is, huh? I love it up here. The Snow Pro Edition, I would say, is probably worth it if you can find one. You get a couple little extra perks, and they're a little bit lighter. The risers, I think, that is a little bit taller because of that. I definitely like where the bars are at. They feel a lot better than the kind of lower bars on the F1100. The handlebar themselves, though, are actually like a little bit of a smaller diameter than what I've got on the F1100, and I really kind of don't like that. They're almost like too small to grab. I feel like I'm driving around holding on to pencils. I think that's honestly the only complaint that I have about this sled, other than I guess the fact that it does seem like, I guess maybe it doesn't run any hotter than the sleds I'm with today. I think maybe the temp light just comes on a little bit sooner, and with the little bit of snowfall that we've got coming down here, I honestly didn't think I would need the scratchers, but we didn't even make it to the fuel station before I had to put them down. So I would definitely recommend that. I can actually put a link down in the description for all of the videos that we did on this sled this year. Another one that should probably be mentioned as far as upgrades go is the Speedworks Hypershift clutch kit that my buddy put on this sled. I rode it a bit before and a bit after, and I would definitely say that if you're looking for a little bit of extra snap, that is definitely a good kit to look into. Really makes a very noticeable difference. Gotta love these hills. So as far as maintenance goes, I really haven't had to do anything with this. Like I said, on a two-stroke, you gotta clean the power valves once a year. I think this sled, I don't even think it has. I guess I should check how many miles does it have on it. No idea what I'm doing. Oh, there's the RPMs. And there's the speed. Okay, whatever, we'll worry about it later. I think it's got right around 800 or 900 miles on it, and it's been completely trouble-free so far. Absolutely no issues. I would assume that that's probably going to carry out through most of its life. Obviously, no guarantees ever with any piece of machinery that you buy, but I would have to think that a 600 is going to be a little bit more reliable than the 800s are. And while I haven't had the skid out of this sled, I did actually pull the one out of my F1100 this year, and that's actually really pretty simple to do as long as you can get the sled up in the air. And I guess you could tilt it up on its side too, but either way, if you get the track kind of free of the ground a bit and get a little bit of height to the back end, you can actually just do 2 bolts, and this whole thing, the whole metal part in between your track, just completely slides right out the side. It makes it really easy for any type of skid maintenance you need to do. Now, as far as access goes on this thing, it's really pretty easy to get to everything. You just got these little turn knobs here. You get to your clutches and your belt. That's all pretty easy to change out. And on the other side, you need to put a little bit of oil in her. To pull the hood off, you've just got a couple fasteners, some plugs underneath this grate there, and it comes off. Not something you want to do on the trail, but definitely not something that's overcomplicated either. Icing up. It's a good point here. This is, I think, aftermarket up until the point that this thing plugs in down under this panel, so that's pretty slick that you don't have to do any wiring. You just got to plug in the pigtail and you're good to go. Exhaust temp, nothing. Coolant temp, 40 hours, 872 miles. How many of you guys have ridden one of these sleds, and what do you think of it? Let us know down in the comment box. I can't imagine anybody's ridden one of these and not enjoyed it, but maybe I'm wrong. Woo! I don't know, it's just a fun sled to be on, and I like my 4-stroke. I think the biggest issue with that now, I guess, is just that I kind of like the sound a little bit more on this one than I do that one. That, I think, just needs a different pipe. That stock pipe on that just has kind of a drone to it, and the 2-stroke, I guess you would think would be louder, but I definitely have come to appreciate the sound coming out of this one compared to the F1100 this year. I guess one other thing I should mention that maybe you notice up there is the big screen on the dash, and I've got a video that I can link down below for that. That did not come with the sled. That is actually an automotive GPS with VV maps on it. That's just a chip that you can buy from their website, and you stick it in and you get all the ATV and sled trails for Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, and Iowa, I believe. And it actually will track on the trails, so definitely something to look into. Really nice to have. And ZR6000 has an awesome spot for the mount for that thing, just right in the back of the gauge cluster there, so gotta love that. Now we're getting into some trails we can snap it on a little bit. Now, the other thing that is really nice about this sled compared to a 4-stroke is that it is a bit lighter, even though it's got the longer track on it. If you guys want to check out the video where I weighed the two, I can put a link for that down in the description too. That sled is like right about 30 pounds heavier wet, so definitely a noticeable difference when you're going to pick the sled up. And I would say that if you're gonna play in the powder and possibly play in the powder or end up in powder by yourself, this would maybe be the the sled that you'd want to go for, just because a couple extra pounds definitely is going to make things a little bit easier for you to move around. And I don't want to sound like I'm bashing four-strokes or my F1100. I mean, these are kind of just the facts. If you guys have been watching, you know I love my four-stroke, and still might end up with another four-stroke, just one with a turbo strap to it. But we'll have to see. Some ice. As far as the suspension and the shocks go, I believe the shocks are like one step above just what the base model would be when you get the Snow Pro, and I would say that they definitely feel good. I certainly don't have any complaints about them. I don't know if I would say they're extremely better, but it definitely does handle well. It's a very, very nice handling sled. It did, of course, require a little bit of spring adjustments for both my riding style and weight, as well as the new skis and carbides on here. Definitely something that I think you want to kind of take a look at, and like I said, I do have videos on that stuff, so take a look at the playlist down in the description. Woo! That's a lot of ice, but that's definitely, I think, something that can really make any sled handle a lot better. Just a little bit of tweaking here and there till it feels right. And this sled does feel right. This is going to be kind of a hard sled to let go. And like I said, I'm sure some of you guys are probably wondering why I'm not buying it. But like I said, I just really want to move on to something else. I got to ride this all year. Huge thanks to my buddy for letting me do that. Definitely increased my ambition for getting out and riding and making videos this year. And it's just been an absolute blast and a joy to ride. And I mean, I would say that this sled, specifically this one, if you're looking at purchasing it because you're in the area, I think, I mean, it's in excellent shape. My buddy took good care of it, really never got to put too many miles on it. If you guys want to see how I ride it, you can go ahead and take a look at the videos. I guess you'd say I'm pretty slow probably compared to most. But I mean, this thing has been just awesome to ride. So if you guys are interested in picking it up, like I said, take a look down in the description. We're filming this in March of 2022, so more than likely if you're watching it anytime well, too far after that, it might be gone, but take a look down there anyway. I'll have, like I said, contact information, all the items that come with it, which include a very nice, very unused cover. We've got the stock set of skis yet, the Speedworks clutch kit. This has some aux beam LED headlights in it that work awesome. What else? The GPS. Sad to say that that's not going with it. I guess I'm not sad to say. You might be sad to hear. That's going back on the F1100 after today.
Is this the loop we did on the bike?
It is, yep.
We'll probably go that way because it doesn't have to go back or no?
It would, yeah. That's all I've got for you guys. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below. I always try to get back to as many people as I can. Other than that, if you want to see more videos right now, check them out at the top. Click that Swanky Cat logo if you want to see more videos like this every week when I put them out. Other than that, take care, stay safe, stay swanky. Get out and enjoy these beautiful trails in this beautiful world.